Hi everyone, my name's John Lavery and I'm the owner of Fish City here in the city centre of Belfast, Northern Ireland. We're in it now approximately 11 years. In Belfast itself, 9 years. We got into the restaurant business at the time of the last recession. We were interested at that time in perhaps a number of different offerings, but fish and chips was certainly one of those offerings. So we opened a fish and chip business in a place called Ballynahinch. Fish and chip industry, one of the reasons why that interested us was then what we had seen was that the industry hadn't changed very much in perhaps 40 or 50 years, and we thought that we could do something different and innovative. We have a successful business here in Belfast, so I think that says that yes, we have been on the right track. People ask us, well, what are you? And I suppose I haven't quite found the one word or one line description, but we're a fish and chip and a seafood restaurant. Those two businesses traditionally have stood alone or separate. We put them together under the one roof, so quite simple, but nobody had done it before. Developing the seafood side of the restaurant took time because we could only go as fast as the public would allow us to go. So we introduced one or two items and then increased that, developed our kitchen, brought in chefs and expertise so that we could provide modern means of seafood. If you like, we have 4 areas to the restaurant. We have our outside space downstairs. On the second floor, we have the hut, and here, where we are today, the cabin. So I often say to people, you can come here 4 days in a row and have a different experience, because although they're all connected, they have a different feel and a different atmosphere in each of the areas.
Hi, I'm Nick Clough. I'm the head chef at Fish City. So obviously it's a seafood restaurant. 9% of what we have on the menu is seafood. We do have a couple of meat dishes and vegetarian dishes on there, which would be normal, but yeah, so the menu itself changes. I would never really change a menu wholesale. I tend to change a couple of dishes at a time, seasonality. Some dishes, are classics that are always going to be on the menu, our mussels, a chowder, always really popular dishes. I take my influences from everywhere, I think, for my food. My background is kind of mostly like French, realistically, but you might go out for lunch, you might go to a Mexican restaurant and all of a sudden you have a dish, you've never had it before, or you haven't had it for a long time, and you're like, oh yeah, I really like that. Then that can influence you. So I'll change dishes according to what is kind of taking my fancy at the time. But I do always kind of come back to my roots of cooking, which is a lot of kind of classic and French and kind of French peasant food is really kind of what I really like. So whatever happens, my cooking techniques kind of fall back to that. The dish I'm going to show you today is roast halibut with prawn mousse and shellfish and saffron nage. The halibut is nice local halibut. The halibut's an absolutely beautiful fish, large, flat fish, really, really good, beautiful texture, great flavour, probably up there with turbot is my favourite fish. There's not a lot you need to do with it. It has such a good flavour. So I've topped it with portavogie prawn mousse. So to make that, it was prawns and they are blitzed up in a Thermomix till they're smooth with egg white, a little bit of creams added, fresh chopped dill, lemon zest. So a nage is a classic French. It's basically like a broth made with vegetables and stock and then thickened slightly with butter. So I've done a shellfish nage. You cook that out for about 3-4 hours and that gets you a really nice, lovely flavoured shellfish stock. That's going to be the basis for the sauce. So then we're going to put into that leek, baby carrots, baby turnips, diced tomato concasse, saffron potatoes, so that we get ratte potatoes, like a really nice French waxy potato. Yeah, so basically that's your stock. You got your vegetables, and then your halibut, you take your halibut, that's filleted. The mousse is kind of piped onto the top. That is baked through the oven for 5 minutes. We'll have the broth, so we start with the broth with the shellfish now goes into that. So we've got Strangford loch mussels, so again, nice local seafood. Prawns and clams, which are also local. The fresh vegetables, lots of fresh herbs and butter. And that's it. So it's basically you combine the two together with a nice, lovely, fresh stock, enriched with the vegetables and the butter, and then your lovely bit of halibut with the prawn mousse on the top.
Fish City has 4 core values. 1 is quality, 2 sustainability, 3 health, and the 4th the education of those values both to our staff and to the public. Government guidelines are saying you should eat at least 2 portions of fish a week. There is a perception that fish and chips aren't healthy for you because it's fried. We have done a lot of work, and I think that we've proven that that's really not correct. In Belgium and in France, it's against the law to fry above 24 TPM. In the rest of Europe, it is recommended not to fry above 24 TPM. But here in the UK and in Ireland, there's neither recommendation nor law. So science has provided evidence that frying above 24 TPM can produce acrylamide, which can be responsible for some cancers. We change our oil every day. We don't fry above 24 TPM. A small portion of fish and chips, for example, is under 500 calories here at Fish City. Is fish and chips unhealthy? I beg to argue.
Our fish and chips, obviously, which is our sort of pride and joy. The way we would do it, we would actually be quite precise with it to cut the fish so that it's all the same size, but you kind of want the same thickness through that fish as well. So any thin bits, we don't use the thin bits. Like a lot of places might use the whole fillet. Where it's thinner at one end, it's going to be overcooked. So we try to get our fish so it's the same thickness throughout. So it's always cooked perfectly. And then the batter, obviously a very important part of the batter. So it's quite straightforward. It's all natural ingredients, basically flour, water, with a couple of secret ingredients which we won't divulge. And then to cook on the fish, again very precise. We put it always into a rice cone before we dip it into the batter. And then into the batter, very important that it's let to drain off. You want really thin, crispy batter. If you don't drain enough off, then you're going to get really thick batter and the fish isn't going to be cooked right. And then slowly dropped in, and then we set ours to a particular time to make sure it's cooked perfectly each time. So our chips as well, very important part of fish and chips. Our chips are prepped every morning, peeled, eyed, chipped, and then we get really good quality potatoes. The quality potatoes is very important. That changes throughout the year depending on the sugar content of the potatoes to make sure they're cooked correctly and things. And then they would be twice cooked, so you would blanch them at 153 degrees for a certain period of time, and then that cooks the potato and softens it but doesn't colour it. And then when you send them, then you would cook them at a higher temperature for a short period of time. That gets them nice and crispy, fluffy, cooked throughout. Again, cooked in beef dripping, gives a lot of flavour, gives a nice colour to them. One of the reasons as well we cook everything in beef dripping is that it's been proven that the body can break down animal fats faster and easier than they can actual vegetable fats, and so it's actually healthier in the long run.
We are the first restaurant on the island of Ireland to be MSC certified. MSC is a global organisation which audits fisheries, boat, any business that is certified by them. That ensures that those species which are MSC certified come from sustainable, healthy waters. We do use the Marine Conservation Society, have an excellent tool called the Good Fish Guide. Those are the MSC and the Good Fish Guide are two of the tools that we use all the time. We don't really think about it, we just use them. Those areas off the ocean which those stocks need time to recover, we won't use anything out of those areas that are under threat. We want to support local, and it's better for the environment. We here at Fish City, we stock Carlingford oysters. Carlingford specifically, the mountain waters flow into the bay and it's quite peaty around there, so that adds a unique taste to those oysters. Many people assume that you eat an oyster by taking it to your mouth and it's a swallow. That sometimes is off-putting for people. They're uncomfortable with it, or if they try it and then they gag a little, and that's the last time they'll ever have an oyster. But the best way to eat an oyster is to chew it, because it's then that you're getting those unique flavours, and it's a completely different experience. So next time you're having an oyster, try chewing it.
Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm from Fish City in Belfast, and we are very happy to be rolling out our Oyster masterclasses this autumn and winter, Saturdays at 12 p.m. So this is a great chance to discover the art of oysters. And here at Fish City, we serve exclusively Carlingford oysters, and this masterclass will introduce Carlingford's premium Lewitt-Pfizer oyster. They are hand-selected from Carlingford Loch's Grade A waters, and this is just a great opportunity to learn more about the provenance of our oysters, the sustainability of them. They're sustainably farmed about 50 miles away. And of course, the best part is the pairing, the tasting experience. You'll get hands-on with a chef-led demonstration on how to shuck them safely. So you should be coming out of here a bit of an expert, hopefully. It'll be a great time. We have pickled oysters, baked oysters, fresh oysters, and obviously the Lewitt-Pfizer as well. So do join us. It'll be a great time. And you'll learn a lot more about Carlingford oysters. During our masterclass, we will have our expert Australier walk you through the history, the heritage of Irish oysters, and especially Carlingford oysters grown here. And hopefully you will come out as well in Australia, a master of oysters yourself.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm the head chef at Fish City, and as part of our Oyster masterclass, I'll be showing you how to shuck an oyster and getting you to shuck your own oysters. So we start off, we have a lovely Carlingford oyster here, and this is our oyster shuck. So particular knife, so it has a point, slight blade on the side, but it's not necessarily super sharp at the front. So the way to do it, you take a napkin, lay it flat, lay your oyster round side down. If you're right-handed like I am, you would have what would be called the hinge. So the pointy end would be at your right. And then you take that, your napkin over the top. Now this is to protect your hand, because it's very easy to slip and stab your hand. So that's the last thing you want to do. So you take the point of your knife and into the hinge, and you're just going to gently push while wiggling in. And you'll feel it go in. And as it goes in, you'll feel like it give a little bit, and then that's when you twist, and that separates the top from the bottom. Now the oyster itself is connected to the shell at the top and the bottom, so those two muscles need to be cut. So you gently work along the top with the flat of the blade. Just take any little bits of shell. These Carlingford oysters do have quite a bit of shell that comes off. So you've got a lovely oyster there, lots of juice. You can see that's really nice and fresh. That's what you want in an oyster. And then you have another muscle here which connects the oyster to the base. So you now need to cut through that. and that should release the oyster. Now we like to turn them over, just so you can see that lovely side. So there we have a really nice oyster. Got loads of juice in there. That's exactly what you want. Nice texture, nice colour, and that's beautiful oyster.
You're getting a lot of sweetness, very high mineral content on that. The reason that Carlingford oysters are so exceptional is because they really taste like the landscape. It's framed by the mountains, the Mourne Mountains in County Down, the mountains in County Louth, and you get that kind of fresh water and that salt water, and there's a huge exchange in the tides there. So the oysters have a lot of nutrients to feed on.
Hello, my name is Norbert. I'm working in Fish City, and we're gonna make our signature drink, Blue Lagoon. We can use any type of gin, but that's a local gunpowder Irish gin. That's what I'm gonna use. Peach snap, the blue curacao, lemon juice, simple syrup. Following by my recipe, I'm gonna use some vanilla as well. So first, we add the lemon juice. That's gonna keep the balance between the sweetness and the sour. Another blue curacao, what is 40 ml, peach snap 35 ml, and the gin, what is 45 ml. Straight to the shaker, then vanilla, and the simple sugar, what is only 20 ml. And for the garnish, I use orange slices and some raspberries. So that's the Blue Lagoon.
At this moment in time, we have 11 UK national awards. It says to us that we're doing something right. It's an acknowledgement to the team and our staff. That's of the effort and the work that they put in, because on that level, it's not possible for one person or two people to do what needs to be done to achieve these accolades. But more importantly, it benchmarks us against the best that's out there. It raises the brand awareness. So we see Fish City and we have aspirations to expand. That's what we aspire, and we think that the brand is good enough that we can do that. But when we were researching, we asked questions. We asked people, how often do they have fish and chips? Quite a lot said, I'm not really a fish and chip person. And then I asked the question, well, if you were out in a restaurant and you saw fish and chips on the menu, how often would you have that? And then it suddenly dawned on them that they actually have fish and chips a lot more regularly than they imagined. They weren't going to their local fish and chip shop. What we've done here is that we've provided an environment where people are quite happy and quite comfortable to come out, and it's their Saturday evening and they're out with their partner, wife, or a group of friends. Not everyone will be saying to their partner, Saturday night, let's go down to the local chippy there for our evening meal before going to the theatre. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it wouldn't have been a frequent thing, I suspect. We run a kids club. It's where we invite kids, primary 7. They get a tour around the St. George's Market and look at the fish mongers and see the different species of fish that they have for sale in the market. And then we bring them back here. We speak about the environment and what we're doing here at Fish City. When that's finished, the kids get fish and chips. On average, about 10% of the kids that come into us say they don't like fish. But by the end of the day, and that reduces to 1%. So we've converted those kids into at least trying fish and chips or trying fish. I'd like to think that we have maybe converted a few, and that's at that age, that's with them for the rest of their lives.